Hi everyone. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Let's see. Nancy should be coming in here. Nancy. Hey, did everybody have a good weekend? Oh, my little one was sick this weekend, so I'm a little bit low on sleep. Here she comes. Happy
Hello.
Monday.
Oh,
I was just
happy
saying that
Monday.
my little one was sick this weekend, so I'm a little low on sleep, but I'm doing okay. I'm well caffeinated. And oh, hi. So it's with us. How are you?
Esther Main, he's awesome. He is one of the
Oh,
coaches for
that's
CrossFit
so
and he
cool.
kicks
I love it. I
ass.
love it. Nancy, what are we talking about today? What's our topic?
We are talking, oh, thank you for that. We're talking about keeping positive with your goals. And oftentimes I think what happens is when we're setting goals for ourselves, like we start off, we're like, yeah, let's do this. Let's
Mhm.
get out there. We're going to crush it. And then all like reality kicks in and then you're like, huh, that seems like it's going to be hard. And next thing you know, it's like you start to kind of renegotiate your goals with yourself. And you're like, well, what if I like sort of do this? What if I try to do this? And this big goal, this big vision that you had for yourself, you start to filter it down and you make it smaller and smaller. And then you lose this big vision for yourself. And I don't think you
Well, I think
need
this
to
is
do
about
that.
managing your mind, right? It's about managing your mind and understanding that failure, which I don't even like that word, right? There's action, feedback. Instead of calling it failure, let's call it feedback and then pivot. That's what that's what being an
Pivot.
entrepreneur is. Taking action, getting the feedback from that action and pivot. Oftentimes the feedback is that something didn't go the way that you thought it was going to go, right? And that can send a lot of us into a shame spiral, into a depression, into negativity. Things never go right for me. And you have to be very careful about the dialogue that you're allowing to run in your head on a daily basis, right? Because that will end up ruling your behavior and your actions and your emotions. So, what I love to do if I'm feeling like that, creep of negativity coming in is to you must digest the wins that you've already had. You must take a look and focus on how far you have come, the things that you have done, right? Because otherwise we can get so sucked
Mhm.
into what didn't go right. But we also, just one last thing, it's
Exactly.
just to understand, to really work on not taking it personally, like I said, and understand that it's just part of the path, the action, the feedback, and then the pivot. What do you think about that? Yeah.
I think it's 100% true. And I think like when you're big picture and you're thinking about like the goals you set for your year and as you start to try to do them and you realize, hey, wait, like that was a great idea and now it's actually trying to do it's kind of hard. And you start to reevaluate what you're doing and you start to rethink it.
Yep, exactly.
Give yourself a little grace, right? It's like you're not you're not gonna like if you're training for a
Right.
marathon, you're not gonna run the marathon tomorrow. You're training so remember like be
Yes.
really really proud of the steps you're taking and start like make them into smaller steps and don't look at it and say like well like if you're training for a marathon don't like sit there and beat yourself up because you're not
Yep.
running 26 miles. Maybe you've never run 30 minutes before, so maybe what it is hey, look at me,
Yes.
I actually even went out and ran today. And it's just like take this small win,
Yep.
what Harley was saying, take this small win. You build up on the small win. And if you're always
Mm-hmm.
looking at it like, well, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
doing the big thing yet, you'll if you're always looking at it as
Mm-hmm.
that's the only end goal, you got to
Yeah,
take
and
the small wins in
celebrate them.
between because they're
Really celebrate them and acknowledge yourself for them, so that you can have proper perspective. Because a lot of entrepreneurs, we're achievers. We want to be at that next step now, that next stage now, yesterday. Why isn't it happening? It's hard to lose patience, but when you can celebrate your wins, you can feel that positivity. You can feel that pride, right?
100%. And it's that's I think that that's really important. I think that that's to me this entire concept is keep yourself focused on the positivity, because if you look at what you're accomplishing, if you look at the steps you're taking towards your goal, instead of just looking at your goal, you're going to get to the end result, right, as long as you take the steps to get there. If you only look at where you're trying to go, you're never going to get there, because that
right,
looks like
it's your next step. And stay in the step you're in. I agree completely. I just want to say one last thing about, we get to reprogram that voice in our head, right? So I would say that a major tool to staying positive is to have an answer to that voice that comes in your head when that voice is saying, I'm never going to make it. Why aren't I there yet? Why didn't more people come to my event? Why can't I enroll more people? When that voice starts going on, you have to have a response, because what's happening is that there are neural pathways in your brain, right, that are like grooves, and your mind will go to the grooves because it's used. Those thoughts are, it's like easy, well-traveled paths, so you got to start creating some new paths. And so what can we say? We can say, I'm on my way. When those voices come, I'm on my way. I'm doing my best. I'm showing up today. Come up with a mantra or a self-talk that is more positive and more loving to you. And you'll see that when you start practicing this, those negative voices, they don't come as much. They really don't. And it's really important to take initiative on this, to really do it. And it helps you to stay positive. It has helped me to stay positive for sure. For sure. So that's just a tool that you can use in everyday life, just to, say something positive about where you are in response to those voices that you hear sometimes.
100%. So I think that's great advice.
Yeah.
And I think that that's absolutely actionable. So create something for yourself that you can do. So if you're working on, if you're working on trying to drive client business, that's what we focus on as lead gen. So if that's what you're focused on, you're thinking to yourself, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this. Figure out, take one thing, one actionable item you can do, and commit to
really
small.
Important to be small,
small thing,
attainable.
A small item, and say, you know what? I'm going to commit to that. And look at me, I did it. I freaking did that today. Yeah. I don't care if it's as silly as, look at me, I signed up for Lead Gen Live that happens to be January 23rd. What? So, but threw that in there. But if it's something where you're going to continue your education and you're going to be look, I'm going to start looking into resources and getting the advice. I'm going to actually start recognizing that I need support, and start looking for that support. Good. Do that. Make that your mission, and give yourself a time to figure out, okay, what do I need, and how long am I going to do this? Because we could also live in that area forever. So start giving yourself blocks of time to figure out what you need, how long you're going to do it, and then just take that action in that space, and give yourself the grace to do it in that space. And say to yourself, good for me. Good for me. I'm letting myself do this. I'm taking that step. I'm taking that action, and I'm moving towards my goal. It will happen. Daily. And
I can't let a conversation about positivity go without mentioning one more thing, which is gratitude, right? Because, the reason why gratitude journals and all of that have been so popular in the last, ever since Oprah introduced it 20 years ago, it's not just the act of sitting down and writing things that you're grateful for. That's not really even where the value is. The value is the change of the lens. As you're walking through your day, you're looking for the positive so that you have something to write down that night. And so it changes what you see. So feeling grateful for what you already have, feeling grateful that we live in a time where we can have these online businesses and not have to schlep into work, into a 9-to-5. Imagine what our grandmothers would have thought if they saw all of these kick-ass women and men, online creating these incredible businesses. It's an amazing time to live in. So having some gratitude and taking a look at the positives always helps too.
I love it. So
yes, come hang out with us.
Live. January 23rd is the next one. So register. It is ucoachia.com. LGL.
In the comments.
LGL.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. Nancy.
I did. And ahead of you. Look at that. And we will see you guys there. And any questions, just reach out to us. Anybody wants to ask about Ucoachia, come and ask. But literally, this day is all about, take the small win and Don't
Yeah.
minimize it. It's a
Yeah.
freaking
Take some
win.
action, have some grace, have a wonderful week, and we'll see you guys next time.